Yeah, I just got out of seeing X-Men Days of Future Past, and you know what? Shing shing, sparkle sparkle. These don't look half bad, but the movie makes it look a little bit better. Alright, so X-Men Days of Future Past. So X-Men Days of Future Past is a tie-in with all the other X movies, but it's mainly a sequel to X-Men First Class. There's a war going on in the future where these weapons called Sentinels are wiping out everything on this earth, including mutants, people, and just every living thing on the planet. And from there, for a good reason too, Wolverine gets set back into the past to change the course of history from preventing these weapons in being created. And from there we have our movie. And how is X-Men Days of Future Past? This is a really badass movie. I really love how this movie is put together, because in the movie you'll be seen from the future and then to the past, future and then past, and so on. That's how the movie is going to be going. And you guys, they do it extremely well. It's crazy to see that in the future these Sentinels have taken over the world entirely. It kind of reminded me of Terminator, how Kyle Reese would have visions of the future and then he would be switching off to the past. It was cool to see the X-Men come together to fight these things that have taken over the entire planet, and you can tell they are having a rough time beating them. Which is why Wolverine was sent to the past to change the course of history, and then the Sentinels won't be created. What I love about this movie is that it's not just focus on one character, because in the trailers I thought it was going to be about just Wolverine, but you know, it was about everybody in this movie. Everybody had a piece of the pie in the story. For example, Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher's relationship in this movie, also I really dug in this movie. In the previous movie, First Class, you can tell that they're starting to become friends and bitter enemies, but in this one, they're totally enemies. They do not like each other, in which they have their fair share of reasons to hate each other in the movie, which I really liked how they had conflicting ideas once again. What really surprised me in the movie is how big a role Mystique had in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, because if I did tell you why, then it would I think it would ruin the whole movie for you guys. But I'm just going to tell you guys that Mystique has a ginormous role in it, and she kicks ginormous ass. Jennifer Lawrence finally convinced me that she is Mystique, and it makes me happy. Whoever did the makeup for Jennifer Lawrence, they deserve a medal. She was pretty hot. Best character in the movie, by far, is Quicksilver. He's just this dirty hippie kid that just basically uses his powers to fuck with everybody. He even steals shit. I'd have to tell you guys, but there's one scene in the movie where everything just slows down, and then you're able to see everything within his perspective, and it shows how incredibly fast he is. He's all running around, giving a guy a wedgie, poking a guy on the cheek. It just shows that he's just having a good time. And this show, it was a fun scene. It was awesome to see how incredibly fast Quicksilver actually is. However, though, he wasn't in the movie that much, which makes me really sad, but the time that he was on screen, oh, I was like, yes. And if you guys see my First Class review, I've mentioned that how history that's in the movie, it just ties everything together. And I thought it was done really cleverly. And in Days of Future Past, it does the same exact thing. I love how they do a little bit of twist here and there to incorporate the X-Men universe in it. I absolutely love it. So all in all, X-Men Days of Future Past, it was a really well put together movie, and it had a couple scenes there where it had me tearing up just a little bit. Because each character and what they're going through, you can relate to that. Shows that mutants have a little bit of a human side to them, and I really love that. And I'm really happy that they brought Bryan Singer back as director for the X-Men movies, and it makes me feel that he was born to direct X-Men movies. Just like how Christopher Nolan was born to do Batman movies, Bryan Singer was born to do the X-Men movies. The story was really excellent, and the characters was extremely awesome. It was cool to see all these X-Men on screen. It was awesome to see Quicksilver put on his headphones and then play Jim Croce while he's running around the room just fucking with everybody. Time in the Bottle by Jim Croce. It reminded me of my dad. Love you, Pops. Oh, and a reminder, there has been 2 superhero movies that came out this month. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and X-Men Days of Future Past. And which superhero movie takes home the trophy for best superhero movie of this month? Drum roll, please. And the winner goes to X-Men Days of Future Past because X-Men Days of Future Past gets a 5 out of 5. This movie is by far my favorite this year, and I feel as if this is a year for Marvel. They have 2 movies so far this year that have gotten excellent reviews. So hope Marvel keeps the ball rolling because I have extreme faith in them. Oh, and a little note too, there's a little scene at the very end credits that sets up for X-Men Apocalypse. So guys, stay after the credits, see what this scene is. It was actually really exciting to see. I really don't mind seeing this movie again, but in the meantime, I have to get going. Peace.